The story begins with a military convoy escorting something inside a mysterious container. On the empty road, with no 7-Eleven, Walmart, or even a random Taco Bell in sight, the convoy rolled smoothly without traffic. On the other side of the road, a couple on their way to get married appeared. They sped like maniacs, probably because patience wasn't on the wedding menu, because one got distracted while the other was busy warming up. And then the container, big as corporate tax evasion, went flying. Of course, everyone panicked. When they reported the accident, the operator ordered them to leave the area immediately. Before they could clear out of nowhere, without warning, suddenly, in his panic, he ran off without realizing that his own car was right there, ready to be started. After running far enough and believing the situation was safe, they finally stopped. But as it turned out, fate had other plans. Well, that's just NPC life. Everyone who got bitten rose one by one as zombies, gathering under their leader to witness the bright full moon. Sorry, I mean to witness the sight of a city. After that, you can probably imagine the city's fate. Zombie attacks everywhere. And soon enough, the city was completely taken over by the undead. Sometime later, in another city, a wealthy, corrupt businessman walked into a small street diner. He offered the cook a business deal. Tanaka offered Scott $50 million. The task was simply to retrieve the contents of a vault holding $200 million. But the location was right in the middle of a city completely overrun by zombies. After Scott agreed to the offer, Tanaka handed him a map showing the location of the vault. Scott studied the map carefully, determined to take on the mission for the sake of his daughter, who was still living in a shelter, so she could one day leave that place and attend school like any other child. Then he began recruiting his team, starting with his ex, who still had a little spark left. And also a friend he considered family back from his military days. He planned to give $15 million each. The remaining $5 million was split among the rest of the team. $2 million for the helicopter pilot, $250,000 for the safecracker, and the rest for a few extra team members. Then he asked his daughter to be the bus driver and take the team into the zombie-infested city. Sometime later, Tanaka gathered them all inside a warehouse in the city. Tanaka explained his plan using a replica of the building where the vault was located. The first step they had to take was to eliminate the zombies swarming the road leading to the casino where the vault was hidden. After that, they needed to blow open the vault entrance, restore the power, and reach the vault inside one of the rooms in the building. Then, it would be the safecracker's job to open it. Once they secured everything inside the vault, a helicopter would already be waiting on the rooftop. After that, they would return to the city. The time limit was only one day because the government planned to bomb the city with a missile. And at the end of the meeting, Tanaka added a watchdog team member from his own side. The next day, they all set off toward the border of the zombie city. When they arrived, they met Coyote. Here, the survivors of zombie attacks were nicknamed Coyote. Then, when Kate found out that her friend had left her child behind to go earn money in the zombie city, she got angry and hit Coyote, who was the gatekeeper of the city. Coyote didn't even know her friend had a child. Learning that her friend had gone out, Kate insisted on joining the expedition into the zombie city to find her. Reluctantly, Scott allowed it on the condition that she couldn't stray too far from him. Coyote noticed one of the guards at the refugee camp and suggested recruiting him as an additional member. Although Scott insisted his team was complete, Coyote urged him to trust her. Scott was unaware that this guard was the very person who often harassed his daughter, Kate. Coyote offered Bert $20,000 to join the mission as a member, and Bert accepted the offer. Then they opened the border gate to the zombie city. After taking just a few steps, a melodious sound came from the distance. They panicked, but then it turned out it was a hulking zombie tiger. Fortunately, it just passed by. Then one of the support team members got shot in the leg because from the start he had been planned as a bargaining pawn. So there has to be a sacrifice if you want to travel here. Without waiting long, the zombie queen appeared and took the offering. They then proceeded through the area of zombies that were asleep. Amid the crowd of sleeping zombies, they moved in a single file rotation. Under Scott's leadership, they navigated cautiously and skillfully, slipping through the gaps between the dormant zombies. As long as no member acted recklessly or deviated from the path, their journey should have remained secure. However, the director had other plans, as one mischievous member caused trouble. He moved the road sign, which should have directed left, to the right instead, causing the woman to become lost. The zombies then awoke one by one and attacked her. A fierce struggle ensued, and when she attempted to escape, the mischievous member deliberately blocked her path. Although she eventually managed to leave the area, the woman did not survive. Then they ran with all their strength until they reached the building where the vault was stored. They entered the building while clearing the zombies surrounding it that obstructed their path. Upon entering the vault room, they saw numerous skeletons that had previously attempted to open the vault. It turned out that there were many traps along the path to the vault. To deactivate these traps, Vander captured zombies to serve as bait. They allowed the zombie to walk down the corridor, which in turn triggered numerous deadly traps.
So is that it, Dita?
Once they ensured that all the zombies had triggered the traps, they finally dared to open the vault. Coyote and Martin, who were stationed outside, were approached by the zombie queen and her guards. Martin captured the zombie queen, and they killed her guards. Coyote did not know Martin's true intention, which was to take the queen's head, allegedly only to collect her blood. It turns out that the true mission was to obtain the zombie queen's head, which could be used to create a biological weapon or even harness the power of the zombies. When the zombie king learned that his queen and their unborn child had died, he became extremely enraged. Dieter finally managed to unlock the vault filled with stacks of money. Meanwhile, Coyote, noticing the money-counting machine, seized the chance to secretly switch the queen's head from Martin's bag. Inside the vault, they saw an overwhelming amount of cash and immediately began stuffing it into their bags. Meanwhile, the zombie king, he carried the queen's body back to his army's headquarters. There, the zombie king removed his unborn child from the womb, only to discover that the baby was already lifeless. The zombie king then ordered his entire army to hunt down Scott and his team. As the zombie king's forces emerged from their lair, Kate had secretly arrived at the zombie nest to search for her friend. Her father, who was with his ex at the time, panicked, burdened by having a child, and suddenly, instead of Fortune arriving, it was the zombie king who appeared. A fierce battle ensued, and then the mischievous member fled alone, locking the others inside. As he attempted to flee, Martin perceived that the bag containing the zombie queen's head was lighter than the burden of his own life. Curious, he opened the bag, which turned out to contain something entirely different, and suddenly, Martin's fate was predictable. Those who commit evil inevitably face the consequences of their actions. In front of the vault, Vander engaged the Zombie King in a one-on-one battle. However, as the Zombie King possessed extraordinary strength, akin to Superman with steel-like muscles and iron-like bones, Vander was powerless and decisively defeated. On the verge of death, Dieter sacrificed himself to rescue Vander. In another room, Scott and two of his companions attempted to flee to the upper floor where the helicopter awaited. However, the sheer number of zombies was overwhelming, and his team perished one by one. As they attempted to board the helicopter, the Zombie King appeared to exact his revenge. Coyote, who endeavored to hold back the Zombie King to allow the others to escape, ultimately perished. Scott successfully escaped in the helicopter and endeavored to locate his child. He searched the entire building, yet no trace, shadow, or indication could be found. Elsewhere, Kate finally reunited with her missing friend. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, they attempted to leave but were attacked by zombies. Scott heard gunfire and immediately ran to the location. In the distance, a figure appeared, which turned out not to be her father, but the Zombie King. Cornered, a family reunion took place. Seeing the Zombie King thrown far away, they attempted to escape using the helicopter on the upper floor. As they were about to depart with relief, a familiar figure appeared behind them. Yes, it was the Zombie King again. Perhaps he also wished to board the helicopter. A fierce struggle ensued inside the helicopter, and the pilot was shot. As a result, the helicopter wobbled uncontrollably, much like a love story full of twists and turns. Meanwhile, the city-destroying missile was already en route. Scott was bitten, yet at the moment the missile detonated, he finally managed to kill the Zombie King. The zombie city exploded, and the helicopter they were in crashed. Kate regained consciousness and witnessed her city in ruins. The buildings vanished instantly, like friends who borrow money and disappear. She then saw her father in agony. Realizing that he would soon transform into a zombie, Scott asked his daughter to stop him. Reluctantly, Kate had to kill her own father. She then discarded her pistol, as one might discard memories of past relationships. Thus concludes the story. Here we see that trust is the key to a successful team, and greed can destroy everything. Thank you for watching until the end. Please like, subscribe, and enable notifications to stay updated with my latest videos. See you in the next video. Goodbye.